So hello students, welcome to the Stepping Stone Olympiad and IIT Mathematics Training. So continuation of the last class. So let us discuss properties of rational numbers now. So in the 8th class you have studied properties relating to the closure property, commutative property and associative property of whole numbers and integers. Now let us check whether are they satisfy for rational numbers or not. Now, so addition. Is the rational numbers satisfy closure property with respect to addition or not? So already answer you are having here. What is the meaning of closure property with respect to addition? What is the meaning of it? So the closure property means when you take any two rational numbers and add, will you get a rational number again or not?
So will get.
So that means what? You will get a rational number, means rational numbers satisfy closure property with respect to addition. Not only by adding any two rational numbers, if you subtract also, still you will get a rational number. That means rational numbers satisfy closure property with respect to subtraction. Next, as well as multiplication also. If you multiply any two rational numbers, you are going to get a rational number only. Now, if you divide any two rational numbers by taking non-zero rational numbers, then also you will get a rational number. That's why rational numbers satisfy closure property with respect to addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Now, commutative property. Now, what is the meaning of commutative property? With respect to addition, means suppose if I take two rational numbers, A by B, C by D. Now, when I add, means is it A by B plus C by D? Will it be same as C by D plus A by B or not?
So
When I interchange the numbers with respect to addition, will is the result is same or not? Left side and right side.
So it's equal.
Same. Means what? Rational numbers satisfy commutative property with respect to addition. Now, what about with respect to subtraction? That means, is it, let's take an example. Is it 1 by 2 minus 1 by 3? Is it same as 1 by 3 minus 1 by 2?
No, sir.
No. That's why rational numbers will not satisfy commutative property with respect to subtraction. Next, multiplication. Is it 1 by 2 into 1 by 3? I am taking an example. Is it same as 1 by 3 into 1 by 2 or not?
So it's same.
Same. Left side value is 1 by 6. Right side value is also 1 by 6. Means rational numbers satisfy commutative property with respect to multiplication. Now, if you take non-zero rational numbers, now what about division? So is it 1 by 2 upon 1 by 3? Is it same as 1 by 3 upon 1 by 2? Are they same? So they are
No,
not
sir.
equal. That means rational numbers will not satisfy commutative property with respect to the operation division. Next, associative property. So what's the meaning of associative property with respect to addition? Means suppose if I take A, B and C are three rational numbers. Instead of taking A by B form, taking directly ABC form. Now, so with respect to addition, is it A plus B plus C? Will it be same as A plus B plus C or not? When A, B, C are rational numbers. Is the left side value and right side value, will they be same or different? It will be the
same, sir.
same. That means rational numbers satisfy associative property with respect to the addition. Now, let us discuss with respect to the subtraction. That means, is it A minus B minus C? Will it be same as A minus B minus C? Are they same? Are they different?
No, sir. They're
They
different.
are not equal, because left side will be A minus B minus C, whereas right side will be A minus B minus of minus becomes plus C. So they are not equal. That means rational numbers will not satisfy associative property with respect to the subtraction. Next, what about multiplication? Is it A into B into C? Will it be same as A into B into C or not?
Sir, it will be same.
So left side will be same as the right side. That means rational number satisfy associative property with respect to the multiplication. Next, when you take non-zero rational numbers, now with respect to the division operation, is it A divided B again divided by C? Is it same as A divided by B divided by C? Are they same? Are they different?
They're different.
They are different. Means they are not equal. That means rational numbers will not satisfy associative property with respect to division. Here, when I write A divided by B divided by C means we should write as A divided by B again divided by C, means it will be 1 upon C. That is A upon BC. That is the left side. Now, whereas the right side, A divided by B divided by C. That means this will become now AC upon B you will get. Whereas this is A upon BC and right side is the AC upon B. That's why they are not equal. So you should remember all these properties. Next. Properties of irrational numbers. Is it visible clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, first one, read. First property, read. What is mentioned? Negative of an irrational number is also irrational number. Now, if I take minus root 5, here symbol is not printed. Minus root 5 is an irrational number because root 5 is also an irrational number. That means when you multiply with minus 1, still it will be irrational number only. Next, the sum or difference of a rational number and an irrational number is an irrational only. That is, 2 is a rational and root 3 is an irrational. So 2 plus root 3 is again a irrational only. Not only 2 plus root 3, 2 minus root 3, root 3 minus 2 are irrational numbers because 2 is rational number and root 3 is an irrational number. Now, even if you have remembered the root 3 value, we have discussed decimal form. Anybody has remembered root 3? Root 3. Approximately how much value?
1.732.
1.732. After that also decimals will be there, but the decimals cannot be terminated nor repeated. So that's why this is the irrational number. But when I add 2 to this, so 2 plus root 3, then what the value it will be now? 2.732 and so on. So for this also, after the decimal, the digits neither repeat nor terminate. That's why 2 plus root 3 is an irrational number. In the same manner, 2 minus root 3 as well as root 3 minus 2 also. Next property. The product or quotient of a non-zero rational number with an irrational number is an irrational only. Now, so what we are taking, non-zero rational number with an irrational number. So here 2 root 3, 2 upon root 3, root 3 upon 2 are irrational numbers because 2 is rational and root 3 is irrational. So the same procedure, 2 into root 3. So if I multiply with the 2, this. So what is 2 root 3 becomes now? So when I multiply this, tell me for these digits. 2 to the 4, 2 3 the 6, 14, 2 1 the 2 3. That is 3.464 and so on will be there. So that means what? Here also after the decimal, the digits neither stop nor repeat. So that's why this is also irrational number. Next, the sum, difference, product and quotient of two irrational numbers may be rational or irrational. That means you should give an example where the sum is rational as well as irrational. The difference is rational as well as irrational. Like that for each, we should give an example where the result is a rational or it can be irrational also. Observe this. 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3. Previously we have discussed. 2 plus root 3 is irrational and 2 minus root 3 is also irrational. Now if I add these two, that is 2 plus root 3 plus 2 minus root 3. Root 3 will get cancelled. So what is the remaining now? 4, which is a rational number. That is sum of two irrational numbers is a rational number with this example. Now again, 2 plus root 3 and minus 2 plus root 3 are two irrational numbers. Now if I take this sum, 2 plus root 3 plus minus 2 plus root 3. Now here what is gets cancelled is 2 gets cancelled. So what is the remaining? Root 3 plus root 3, which is 2 root 3. 2 root 3 is what? Irrational number. That means in these two examples, we have given two irrational numbers whose sum is a rational number, whose difference is a irrational, whose difference, not only difference, whose sum is a irrational number. That is, some can be rational, some can be irrational. Now in the same manner, we can have for the difference also. Now 2 plus root 3 and minus 2 plus root 3. Let us take the difference. So when I take difference, I'll get a 4. So means it is a rational number. Next, when I take 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3, their difference. So here you are getting as what? 2 root 3, which is a irrational number. Next, root 2 and root 8 are two rational numbers. Now let us consider the product. So far we have discussed the sum and difference. Now let us consider the product. So root 2 into root 8. So root 2 into root 8. Now root 2 into root 8 will be same as what? Root of 16. That is, you have property root a into root b. You can write as root of ab when a and b are positive numbers. Now that is root of 16, which is equal to 4 or minus 4, which is a rational number. But in general, root value will be considered positive only. So don't consider the negative value. So always will consider the root value as positive only. If I consider the square of 4 and square of minus 4, I'll get 16 only. But root value will be always considered as a 4, which is called the principal value. Next, Root 2 and root 3 are two irrational numbers. When I consider the product root 2 into root 3, it will be root 6, which is an irrational number. That means in the fifth example, we got the result as rational number. In the sixth example, we got the result as irrational number. Now, let us take the quotient. Root 8 and root 2 are irrational numbers. Then their quotient, that is root 8 upon root 2, which is same as root of 8 upon 2, which is root 4, that equal to 2, which is a rational number. Next, 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3 are rational number. Their quotient. So 2 plus root 3 upon 2 minus root 3. Now, so here we are multiplying numerator and divided with another irrational number, 2 plus root 3. This 2 plus root 3 is called the conjugate of this number. So we'll discuss later. So in detail. So we are multiplying such that the denominator is a rational number. Now here, which formula is applicable is numerator is 2 plus root 3, 2 plus root 3. That means it is like both are same. It is 2 plus root 3 whole square. Whereas the denominator, it is in the form of a minus b into a plus b. What is a minus b into a plus b?
A minus b whole square.
No, a minus b into a plus b. A square minus b square. So a square means what? 4. B square means root 3 whole square. So 3. So 4 minus 3, 1. And numerator, a plus b whole square form. 2 plus root 3 whole square. Tell me the expansion of a plus b whole square.
A square plus 2ab plus b square.
A square plus 2ab plus b square. Means a square is 4 here, root 3 whole square is 3, plus 2 into 2 into root, that is 4 root 3 upon 1. That is 7 plus 4 root 3, which is also again irrational number. That means quotient also can be rational number or irrational number. So you need to remember these properties. These are very important. So sometimes if it is asked, it should be given an example. Okay. Let us revise some properties which you know already, exponents and surds. So the product of n factors each equal to a is expressed as what? A to the power of n. A is called base and n is called exponent or index or power. And this notation is known as what? Exponential notation. Okay. Now, properties which you know already. In the last year itself we have studied. Product law. So a to the power of m into a to the power of n equal to what? A to the power of m plus n. That is, whenever the bases are same, you have to add the exponents. Example, a to the power of 4 into a to the power of 3. It will come what? A to the power of 4 plus 3, which is same as what? A to the power of 7. Next, quotient law. A to the power of m upon a to the power of n equal to a to the power of m minus n. So whenever the bases are same, then you have to subtract the exponents. So a to the power of 5 upon a to the power of 3 equal to a to the power of 5 minus 3, which is same as a square. Next, power law. A to the power of m whole to the power of n equal to a to the power of mn. So a to the power of 4 whole cube is same as a to the power of 4 into 3, that is a to the power of 12. So even you can write this as a to the power of 3 whole to the power of 4 also we can write. But still it is the value will be a to the power of 12 only. Next, a to the power of 0 equal to 1. That is 5 to the power of 0 equal to 1. These are the conditions that you should remember. Next, sixth property. When a not equal to 0, a to the power of minus n, you can write as 1 upon a to the power of n. So you should remember this. Sometimes you will make a mistake in this only. So 3 to the power of minus 2 means 1 upon 3 square, which is 1 by 9. Next, power of product means ab whole to the power of n means a to the power of n into b to the power of n. So if I write xy whole cube means x cube into y cube. Suppose if I write 6 cube, what is 6 I can factorize as? 6 factors. 2 into 3 whole cube. So if I apply this here, what I should write now?
2 cube into 3 cube.
2 cube into 3 cube. So you have to raise the power to each, means 2 cube into 3 cube. Next, power of a quotient means a by b to the power of n equal to a to the power of n upon b to the power of n, where b not equal to 0. That is x upon y whole square equal to x square upon y square. Suppose if you are having 5 by 3 whole cube. Tell me, what should I write this as?
5 cube by 3 cube.
5 cube by 3 cube. What is the 5 cube value, anybody? 5 into 5 into 5.
125.
Upon 3 into 3 into 3.
27.
81.
27. Next, another property. Whenever you are having a to the power of x equal to a to the power of y, when the bases are same, equate the exponents directly. That is x equal to y. Now, suppose if you are having 3 to the power of x equal to 3 square. So bases are same. Then you can equate the exponent. So x equal to 2. Means when you are solving any equations, when you are coming across in this form, then you can apply this. That is, when the bases are same, equate the exponents. Next, extension of this. If a to the power of x into b to the power of y into c to the power of z equal to a to the power of l into b to the power of m into c to the power of n, then equate the corresponding exponents. So here a power x is there, here a power l is there. That means x must be equal to l, and y must be equal to m, and z must be equal to n. Example, 2 power x, 5 power y, 3 power z equal to 2 power 3, 5 power 1, 3 square. Then x equal to what? 3, and y equal to 1, and z equal to 2. Next, if a greater than 1, that is, if the base is greater than 1, and a to the power of x is greater than a to the power of y, then we can conclude that x must be greater than y. That is, when the base is greater than 1, then exponent also must be in the same relation. That is, x must be greater than y. Now, suppose if 3 power x is greater than 3 square, then x must be greater than 2. Now, so if you get it out, then what you can do is you can take an example for x value and verify this inequality. That is, 3 power x, is it greater than 3 square when x greater than 2 or not? Now, let us take an example. X greater than 2 means x equal to 3. Now, when I take x equal to 3 and substitute it here, tell me what the value I will get.
27.
27. So 27 is greater than what? 3 square, which is 9. That means when x greater than 2, it is true. Not only 3, any number I can take. Now let us take one number which is less than 2. Let us take x equal to 1. Now, again substitute here. Then what the value I will get?
3.
3. Is it 3 greater than 3 square?
No.
No. That means what? When x is greater than 2, only it will be satisfied, not for less than 2. Okay. No. Even for 2 also it will not satisfy, because you cannot say 3 square is greater than 3 square. Only it must be greater than 2. But remember, here the base is what? Greater than 1. Now, if the base is less than 1, a is less than 1, and a power x greater than a power y, then x is less than y. Whereas previously, when the base is greater than 1, here we are saying x greater than y. When the base is less than 1, it will be the opposite inequality. Here it is same inequality. Here greater than is there, in the result also greater than. Whereas here greater than is there, here you are getting the result as what? Less than. So the result will be opposite inequality. If it is greater than is there, it becomes less than. Let us take an example. 0.1 to the power of x greater than 0.1 whole square, then x value must be less than 2. That is, for all x less than 2, only it will be get satisfied. Now, so let us verify here also with an example. 0.1 to the power of x. Let us write here. So 0.1 to the power of x means 0.1. Can I write 1 upon 10 whole power x?
Yes, sir.
And symbol is greater than 0.1 whole square means 1 upon 10 whole square. Now, so here x must be less than 2. Suppose if I take x equal to 1, check whether it is true or not. X equal to 1 when I take here, what the result I will get? When x equal to 1, left
1
side
by
will be
10.
what? 1 by 10 means 0.1 only. Greater than 1 by 10 whole square means 0.01. Is it true or not?
That's true.
That means x equal to 1 will be satisfied. Not only 1, any number less than 2, it will be get satisfied. Now let us take x equal to 3. Now, when I take x equal to 3, 1 by 10 whole cube. What is 1 by 10 whole cube in terms of decimal?
0.001.
0.001. Now, is this greater than 0.01?
Yes, sir.
Sure? No, 0.001 is not
No,
greater
sir.
than. Okay. That means what? X must be less than 2 only, not x greater than 2 onwards. Okay. Now, so here you need to remember that whenever the base is greater than 1, whatever the inequality sign is there, it will be the same inequality for the exponents also. When the base is less than 1, whatever the inequality is there, that will be opposite for the exponents. So here greater than is there. For the exponents, it will be what? X less than y. Next. N is a natural number and A is a positive rational number. If A is not the nth power of a rational number, then A to the power of 1 by n will be written as nth root of A. So you have to read this as nth root of A. In the last class, we have discussed this. Nth root of A, you have to read. Is called a surd or radical of nth order. Because here n is there, that's why it is the nth order. So the name is surd or radical of nth order. So here A is called radicand. So you should remember the names. Now, when I write 2 to the power of 1 by 3, so this I can write in this surd form. This is the exponent form and this is the surd form. So 2 to the power of 1 by 3 is the exponent form that we are writing in the surd form. That is cube root of 2. So you have to read this as cube root of 2. So it's a surd. Next. A surd is always an irrational number only. So here A is not the nth power of a rational number. So that's why this is the irrational number. So a surd is always irrational number. But whereas an irrational number need not be always a surd. Now, so example is, so here itself here I have an irrational number need not be a surd. So example is pi e 2.10100. So these are all what? Irrational numbers, but these we are unable to express in this form. So it is not possible to express this in the nth root of a form. That's why we are saying that these are the irrational number, but not in the surd form. Are you understanding, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Next. A surd of order 2 is called a quadratic surd. Of order 3 is called a cubic surd. And of order 4 is called a biquadratic or quartic surd. Tell me what is this surd?
Cubic.
Cubic surd. What is this surd?
Quadratic.
What about this?
Biquadratic.
Or quartic. Okay. Now after 4, there is no specific name. So we can say that surd of order n. Okay. Next. the surds which are itself different are surds of same order but different radicands are called dissimilar surds. Now, the surds which are itself different are surds of same order but different radicands are called dissimilar surds. Now, suppose if I consider root 2 and root 3. Now, can I say they are dissimilar surds or not?
They're dissimilar.
Why? Because order is same, but the radicands are what? Different. Not only this, surds which are itself different means I can take as cube root of 2 and fifth root of 7. So here order itself is different. So they are also dissimilar surds. Next, nth root of a to the power of m is written as what? A to the power of m upon n. Now, so how to conclude this is nth root of a to the power of m. So previously we have discussed nth root of a means I should write as what? A to the power of 1 by n in the exponent form. So here I am having what? Nth root of a power m. So nth root of a power m means inside is as it is a to the power of m. When I remove the nth root symbol, I should write as what? Whole to the power of 1 upon n. Now again using the power law of exponent, a power m whole to the power of 1 by n becomes what? A to the power of m upon n. So remember, you should multiply m to the numerator only, not for the denominator. Sometimes you will make a mistake here only. So a to the power of m into 1 by n, you should write as a to the power of m by n only. Okay. Example, cube root of 5 square is what? 5 to the power of 2 by 3. Fifth root of 3 to the power of 4. Tell me what is this I should write?
3 to the power 5 by 4.
Sure? So I should write as
No,
what
4
first
by
when I...
5.
So I should write as 3 to the power of 4 whole to the power of 1 by 5 I should write. So which will be same as what? 3 to the power of 4 by 5. See, everybody should respond whether it is correct or wrong. Okay. Tell me one more example. Fourth root of 7 square. Tell me this.
7 to the power 2 by 4.
7 to the power of 2 by 4. Which is same as what? 7 to the power of now. When I simplify 1 by 2. And 7 to the power of 1 by 2. Again in the surd form. What should I write?
2
Radical
to the
form.
2 root 7.
Root of 7. 2 not necessary to write. This not required. Whenever square root is there, this 2 not necessary to write. Just you can write as root 7. Okay. Next. Nth root of AB will be same as what? Nth root of A into nth root of B. Now, so nth root of AB in the exponent form, what I can write? AB whole to the power of 1 by n I can write.
Yes, sir.
And using the exponents properties, then AB to the power of 1 by n will be same as what? A to the power of 1 upon n into B to the power of 1 upon n. And A to the power of 1 upon n will be same as nth root of A. And B to the power of 1 upon n is nth root of B. Okay. So when I'm having cube root of xy, I should write as cube root of x into cube root of y. Let us take an example, another example. Cube root of 6. Now, how to split this? Cube root of 6. Cube root of 6 I can write as what? 2 into 3.
2 into 3.
Now, what is this becomes now?
Cube root of 2 into cube root of 3.
Cube root of 2 into cube root of 3. Good. Next. Previously it's the product. Now ratio. So nth root of a upon b will be same as nth root of a upon nth root of b. Now example, fifth root of 3 by 2. So you should write as fifth root of 3 upon fifth root of 2. Next, nth root of mth root of a will be same as mnth root of a, and this also you can write as mth root of nth root of a. So example is cube root of fifth root of 10, which is same as 3 into 5, 15th root of 10. Now, so to make it more clear, so I will write the exponent form. Now, so first let us write the inside exponent form. So let us keep outside cube root as it is. Tell me inside exponent form, fifth root of 10. How to write?
10 to the power 1 by 5.
10 to the power of 1 by 5. Good. Now you remove cube root now. So 10 to the power of 1 by 5. Again, what should I write now? Whole to the power of how much?
1 by 3.
1 by. That means 10. It is like now a power m whole power n. Means 10 to the power of 1 by 5 into 1 by 3. So that means 10 to the power of 1 upon 15. So 10 to the power of 1 upon 15 is the exponent form. Now you can convert into the surd form. Then I can write this as what? 15th root of 10. That is what this 15th root of 10. So whenever you are unable to do in the radical form, so what you are to do is you convert into the exponent form and simplify. After that, again you can convert into the radical form. Okay. Tell me this. Square root of fourth root of 7. What is this equal to? In terms of exponent form, you tell me, as well as radical form, you tell me. What is the exponent form I should write? 7 to the power of
1 by 6.
Sure.
Yeah.
1 by 8, not 6. You should not add, you should multiply. Now, in the radical form, you tell me how to read and write. Radical form.
8 root 7.
8th root of 7. Next, root of a plus b. So root of a plus b is not equal to root a plus root b. So most of the students will make a mistake here only. That is, they will apply root for each term. So that is wrong. So example, root of 9 plus 16. Like a is 9 and b is 16. Now, so root of 9 plus 16. Value is how much? Root of 25, which is 5. But whereas root 9 plus root 16. Root 9 is 3 and root of 16 is 4. So 3 plus 4, 7. So which is not equal to 5. This is an example. So they should remember easily. Next, in the same manner, root of a minus b is also not equal to root a minus root b. So you can consider this example again. Root of 25 minus 16 is not equal to root 25 minus root 16. So remember that you should not apply root for each term here at all. Next, if a is a positive rational number, then root a, cube root of a, fourth root of a, fifth root of a, and so on are in decreasing order of magnitude. Now, have you understood this statement? Decreasing order of magnitude means these values go onward, decreases. That means root a will be bigger than cube root of a, and cube root of a is bigger than fourth root of a, and fourth root of a is bigger than fifth root of a, and so on. Now, so if you want to have some clarity, we can have an example for a. We can take some number, and so that you can evaluate the value. Now, let us take a equal to some 256. Let us, instead of 256, let us say easy. A equal to 64. Let us take. When I take a equal to 64, what is square root of a value?
8.
So square root of a is 8. Okay. Now, what about cube root of 64?
4.
Correct. Now, tell me, is it 8 is greater than 4 or not?
Sir, it is greater.
That means what? They are in decreasing order only. Next, let us calculate fourth root of A. Is it fourth root of A also can be possible? Check. That is fourth root of 64. No, 64 is not a perfect power 4. So you cannot conclude, but still the value will be go on decreases only. Okay. Next. Rationalizing factor. So rationalizing factor means in the name we are having rational. That means when we multiply, the result must be a rational. So rationalizing factor of root A plus root B is root A minus root B. That means when I take the product of these two, root A plus root B, the product must be a rational. So here I can apply what? Some x plus y into x minus y form. So what is x plus y into x minus y? X square minus y square. Means it will be root A whole square minus root B whole square. So root A whole square is A minus B, which is the rational. Okay. So rationalizing factor of root A plus root B is root A minus root B. Okay. Now, tell me what the rationalizing factor of root 2 plus root 7. So what is the rationalizing factor of this?
Root 2 minus root 7.
Root 2 minus root 7. Not only root 2 minus root 7, even I can take minus root 2 plus root 7 also I can take. Check, still the result product is a rational number only. Okay. Here the product will be what? Minus 5 you will get. Here the product will be plus 5 you will get. But still it is a product is a rational number. Now, suppose if I take 2 plus root 3. Now, what is the rationalizing factor for this?
2 minus root 3.
2 minus root 3. So the product will be what? 4 minus 3, which is 1. So rationalizing factor of cube root of A minus cube root of B is cube root of A square plus cube root of AB plus cube root of B square. Now, this product, if you calculate, it will be a rational. Now, so anybody knows this product x minus y into x square plus xy plus y square. Anybody knows or can you able to calculate this product? Can you able to calculate the product? Tell me how to take product. X into all the terms minus y into all the terms. So when I multiply x with all the terms, means x into x square plus xy plus y square. Then again minus y into x square plus xy plus y square. Now tell me the expansion now. First term will be what? X into x square. How much?
X cube.
X cube. X into xy. That is plus what?
2xy.
No. X into xy. X square y plus x into y square. X y square. Next minus y into x square.
Cube plus y cube.
Minus x square y. Next minus x y square because y into y. Next minus y cube. Check is there any terms gets cancelled or not. Plus x square y minus x square y gets cancelled. Plus xy square minus xy square gets cancelled. What the result is? X cube minus y cube. So in detail you are going to discuss in the polynomials. We are going to discuss. So if you have knowledge, then only you can able to understand. Otherwise, this is a procedure. And x minus y into this will be x cube minus y cube. Now, so the rationalizing factor of this we are saying as this. That means here x equal to cube root of A and y equal to cube root of B. Now, when I multiply these two, the result will be what? X cube minus y cube. That means cube root of A whole cube minus cube root of b whole cube, the product. Now, so cube root of a whole cube is a and cube root of b whole cube is b. So a minus b, which is a rational. Next, the surds of the form a plus root b and a minus root b are called conjugate surds. Now, so conjugate surds means when I add, the result should be rational, and when I multiply, also the result should be rational. So when I take a plus root b and a minus root b, let us take an example. 2 plus root 3 and 2 minus root 3. They are conjugate surds. Now, to say conjugate surd, the sum and the product must be rational. So when I add these two, check is the result is a rational or not. So what is gets cancelled here?
Root 3.
Root 3. So what the result now? 2 plus 2, 4.
4.
Which is a rational. Now let us consider the product. So 2 plus root 3 into 2 minus root 3. Now, which formula I should apply here?
We need to rationalize. No. A square minus b square.
That is a plus b into a minus b. So a square minus b square means 2 square minus root 3 whole square means 4 minus 3, which is 1, which is also rational. That means the product as well as the sum must be rational. Then only we can consider as one is the conjugate of the another. So for 2 minus root 3 is the conjugate of 2 plus root 3 and 2 plus root 3 is the conjugate of 2 minus root 3. So remember, whenever the third part is there, for that only you take the opposite sign. So what is the conjugate of 5 minus root 7?
5 plus root 7.
5 plus root 7. What is the conjugate of root 3 minus 1?
Root 3 plus 1.
No. Minus root 3 minus 1 I should take. Why? Because the sum as well as the product, both must be the rational. So you remember that only for the third part only you change the sign. Now if I consider these two, the sum is rational as well as the product is also rational. But whereas when I consider root 3 plus 1, the sum is not a rational here. Only product is rational. So that's why we should not consider this. So we have to consider as minus root 3 minus 1 as the conjugate. Okay. Tell me for root 2, what is the conjugate? What is the conjugate of root 2? Minus root 2. Now, so check whether the sum and the product is a rational or not. What is the sum of root 2 minus root 2? That is root 2 plus minus root 2. What is the value? What is the value?
0.
0. Now, what is the product? Let us consider the product. Root 2 into minus root 2. Now tell me what is the product of this?
2.
Root 2 into minus root 2. So what you will get? Minus root 2 whole square. That is minus 2. So which is also rational. So root 2 is the conjugate, minus root 2 is the conjugate of root 2 and root 2 is the conjugate of minus root 2. What is the conjugate of minus 3 root 2? Conjugate of minus 3 root 2. Conjugate of 3 roots. That's all. Just change the sign. That's all. Here minus is there. Just you take the plus. Okay. So by next class, you should write all these points, whatever we have discussed. Okay. And you should learn also because these are all very important. So if you remember all these properties, so that when we are discussing the problems, it will become very easy. Okay. So by next class, I will send you this entire. So you write entirely and then practice it also, all this. Then we can discuss the problems in the next class. Okay. These are very, very important properties. Okay. So practice it compulsory, all this. And you should be able to say also in the next class when I ask you the properties. Will you do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, fine. Then we'll meet again in the next class. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye, all of you.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.